What's going on YouTube? Welcome to the U.S.S. Voyager tutorial Season 1, Episode 1. I'm Zero Elite and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And also don't forget to join the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. So those of you that have been waiting for Voyager, we're starting this up today. I'm really excited to get into this. This is going to be a really fun build. So we're going to be starting this thing off. Now before we get started, I do want to talk about what we're going to be doing here. Now I want you guys to ignore the numbers that you see here. We're just going to be entering in 241 for our width and 113 for our height. More or less what I noticed as I was building out the outer ring for the oval of Voyager is that Voyager doesn't have a perfect oval. It's more along the lines of shape of an egg. So essentially what we're going to have to do here is take two different templates and merge them together in order to come up with the shape that we need to make that outline for the saucer section of Voyager. So you're going to want to go on Google and do a search for pixel circle generator. And once that comes up, like I said, enter in 241 for your width and 113 for your height. Now, this part is important, so we're just going to be working with half of this. You're not going to be building out this full oval. You're only going to be building it from this point forward, so half of it. Now remember, one of the things I talk about to make this easier on yourself, if you look, your oval already has the x-axis point. So if essentially all we need is this upper right hand corner here. And then we're going to take that same template and mirror it downwards, because if you look, it's the same template except that of going up, it's going down. Or instead of going to the left, it's going to the right. So I do this as a way to keep myself on point. Use just this one template here. But again, you're not building out the second half. So you're probably going to want to pause the video and build this out, because one of the things you're going to notice on Voyager, I'm not going to be building out a lot of this stuff live. The reason I'm going to be doing this is to cut down on the time that it's going to take to build these out. So go ahead and pause and then build out the first half of your oval, and then we're going to begin into the second half. Now you're probably wondering what the second ring oval is here. This was actually my first trial run with Voyager. This is where I determined that my oval was not working and was not matching up with the picture. But we're essentially going to use part of this to figure out how the back end of Voyager is going to look. But we're not going to be using the pixel circle generator to do that. I'm going to be using that as a point of reference, and for the back half of our oval, rebuilding off of what I have here. This is going to be not necessarily a trial and error period, but we are going to make a couple adjustments to this back outline to get it in the angle of the shape that we need it to be. So we did 11 on the left. Now remember, we were following that same rule. If we do one thing on one side, we're going to do it on the other. So we're going to go on the left side now and repeat that same process. So we have 11 on the left and 11 on the right. Now a new row, go in with a cut. I believe that was 8. So now we're going to go over to the right and do the same thing. So we have 8 and 8. Looking pretty good. Let's do another row. And now we're going to go in with a cut, and then we're going to do a row of 6 on the left and the right. Then we're going to do, I think, 5 and 4. Or maybe that was 4 and 4. And what you want to do on here, I believe that we're going to do 4 and 4. You want to make sure that the left and right side match up. Now what you can also do is add in a blue builder line, which we're going to be doing here shortly to make sure that our rows are matching up. So we did 4 rows of 3 on the left. I think we only had 3 on the right, so we're going to add 1 more row. So now we're going to take our blue builder line because we want to make sure that we're checking our work and that what we have on the left side matches our right side. All right, we're looking pretty good so far. Everything's matching up. We really need to make it narrow in a little bit more though. It's starting to. This is why, like I said, this back half here, we're pretty much going to be building this from scratch. I had tried a couple of different templates that I had entered in on the pixel circle generator, and nothing was coming up to what I was fully happy with, as you can see on my test template on the right. But like I said, we're using parts of that to get us where we need to be, basically. So we did 3 or 4 rows of 2 going in with a cut. So go in 1, 2, and then 1 more. I mean, that's looking pretty good, but we kind of need to start angling it in to the center a little bit more than what we have it right now. So I added 4 more rows of 2 going in with the cut. And then I'm going to go back and double check my work. I want to say I have 1 more on the right side than the left. And I think we're actually going to delete the one that's on the right side. But let's double check our work first. Yep, so that's exactly what happened here. Now to fix this, we would just either add 1 to the left or take away 1 from the right. But what we're going to do first, we're going to double check our work to see our rows of 2 if they match up with what we have on the right side. We're going to come over here, we're going to count this out, and we're going to be over by 1. Yeah, so this side we have 9, the other side we have 8. So I just took 1 off of that side, and now we're going to replace our builder line since we deleted 1 row off of this right side to see if that matches up now, which it will. And then we'll delete the old build line. All right. We're looking pretty good. We're going to zoom out and take a look at it from a top-down view. Now, what I'm also doing, because I have multiple monitors, I'm looking at the top-down view of Voyager, my screenshot. It's always important to get a collection of references. Screenshots, 3D model of Voyager. You can go on Google and search U.S.S. Voyager 3D model. Very, very helpful. I highly, highly recommend seeing if you could find a 3D model for any build that you're working on, if it's going to be a starship or anything in general, because it's superior to the photo, because the 3D model, you can look at it from several different angles, as opposed to the photo, you only have that one angle point of reference to go off of. So we added 5 more rows of 2. And that's looking pretty good, but it's kind of elongating the back end. We need to curve in more which is what our problem is right now. Now, the best way that we can probably do that is changing up our pattern from going from a pattern of 2 to a pattern of 1. I'm going to add one more builder line on the last row just to double check to make sure that that's matching up. We're going to do another row pattern of 2. We're going to add 5 more rows of 2 going in with the cut. Like I said, it doesn't look bad. It's definitely bowing in. It's just not bowing in enough. So I say it's important to have your reference photo up for proportions. Because you look now, if you have Voyager cut into 4 pieces on the saucer section, the front end of the saucer is a lot bigger than the back end, which is our problem right now because we're doing the exact opposite. We're making our back end just as long as the front end. So if we went off of this template that we have right now, then it would we basically would be deviating away from where we need to be. One other thing I didn't mention, you always want to make sure that you're building your oval high enough off the ground to where you're not going to hit the bottom. So I want to say go at least 130, 140 blocks up off the ground when you start building this. Now I want to rewind this so you can get our placement of what we're going to do. So we are going to go not our last build line in blue, we're going to go to the middle one. And that's when we're going to start editing. You can see I'm going to add one on top, but I'm basically just adjusting this with what I said a few moments ago, that we need to update this at this point and change from a pattern of 2 to a pattern of 1 going in with a cut line. You can see I'm doing that until I get to the next build line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That looks pretty good. Let's head over to this side and we're going to repeat that same process, and then we're going to check it out and see how it looks. I'm just doing this at this point. I'm using the color red because I don't want it to blend in with the other blocks. It's the same purpose of using our blue builder line. We're just using it a different color. This is just a test to see if what I'm thinking in my mind will work out. This is a great thing that you can do when you're testing out ideas using different colors outside of your construction colors that you're going to use. So this way, if you ultimately decide like, okay, well, that's not going to work, you can just go back and easily delete those changes without worrying about messing up your original template that we have right now. Now that's definitely cutting in more of what it needs to be. Basically trying to decide if I want to go up to the next blue build line or not, or if I'm confident enough to do it from right here. So we're going to continue this on. So looks like we added 5 more as well as building on top of the blue line, or build line. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See, that's more of what we need, 100%. It's starting to cut more inward. And it's developing more of that egg shape that the saucer Voyager should have at this point. So I'm happy enough with this that now I'm going to go back and everything after that red line in the gray, I'm going to delete that. And everything on the outside. So the blue line, we're going to get rid of that. Inner blue build line, we're going to get rid of this too. And then once we have our extra access deleted, then we're going to shift over and update that red into that gray concrete. So this way everything matches. All right. So now let's go and replace the red with the gray concrete. We're going to do this for both the left and the right side. Now, I will say that this is probably going to be one of the longer episodes that I do, and that was really getting the prep work in for our oval. But you'll be surprised, by the end of today's episode, we'll actually have a general outline completed with a few rows added for our saucer, as well as at least first draft template for what will ultimately become our lower hull. Now from here, we're actually going to be rocking and rolling, because like I said, some of these, when we're just adding layers to our ring and that process of repetition, I'm not going to be building all that out live, because there's no point. Once I show you guys a template and to go all the way around, there will be no point in me building that out. This is going to help me to really cut down on the length that this tutorial is going to go through. Just off my first 3 episodes alone, I already used, I think it was 25 recording captures. So out of the whole pool that I have, I don't see this tutorial series going as long as my other ones. I mean, there's a possibility it could, but we'll have to see. Anyway, now that we have our template update on that last row, we're going to add a blue build line just to double check and make sure that both sides match up, and they do. And again, we're looking down at the top-down view of our oval, and we're comparing this to our picture reference of Voyager, and we need to double check to make sure that a couple of things are matching up. That this has that egg shape, just as it should, and the front end on our cut line separating is longer on the front than it is on the back, just like it is on Voyager. So that's looking pretty awesome. I'm not going to say it's perfect, and definitely a couple of slight alterations that we had to make in order to make this happen, but it looks pretty good. Now you see what I'm doing right here. I'm going to save you guys a little bit of time. We're going to add a layer on the top and bottom in white concrete. You can see I'm doing the gray. I'm about to come back in a moment and update that. And we're going to do that going all the way around in the white concrete on both the top row and the bottom row. You can see I'm not going to build all this out live. I'm only going to do the first couple of rows. Now is the point where we're really going to start moving along. I did this on Season 1 of the Enterprise D. It worked out pretty well, but I didn't do it on the entirety of the tutorial. Voyager, that's how it's going to be. So you're probably going to want to pause the episode at this point, and you're going to do a row of white concrete on the top, going all the way around, and the same thing on the bottom. So this way it's a 3-high template now, instead of it just being 1. Now we're going to do a row of white concrete, going with a cut on our middle. And you can't make a mistake here, I promise you. We're going to do this going all the way around, following your cut line. If you make a mistake and it's not matching up, you're not following your template. This is one of the things why I go with my cut lines, because building with the cut lines can help you identifying problems, and it just comes out a little bit nicer in my opinion. Definitely just works out a lot better. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it. This is just works out for me the best. So you want to do that going all the way around. Once you've completed that, then you can go ahead and hit play again. So now on our tip, we're going to add an extra row. And then we're going to do row 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that was 10, but we're going to count that out again. I actually just messed up because I went in 2 on the right and this side I didn't. But that'll be an easy fix, but you just want to make sure that at this point we are going off the template from the right side. We're going to do that row of 2, I believe, first, and then we'll continue on. So I actually want to back this up and count this out for you guys. So see right here we went in 2, and now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did row 2, in with a cut, and then a row of 10. We want to do the same thing on this side. Row of 2, which we have, we go in with a cut, and then we do a row of 10. Now for me, to catch up with you guys, what I'll have to do is just do an inner, just outline after that first 2, and then delete that outer row for everything else that I'm doing. So this way the right side matches up with the left. So we're going to do in with a cut, and then we're going to do 10. And then we're going to go in with a cut and do another row of 10. Remember what you do on the left side, or if you do one thing on one side, you have to do it on the other. This way both sides match up. The reason I say this is that imagine if you're looking at your ship from the front and you cut it in half vertically. Both sides match, but it's mirrored on the other side. So that's why I'm saying that essentially we're only building half this ship and repeating the same process on the other side. I can't believe at this point I didn't catch that mistake up there. Now we're going to add in with a cut and one more row of 10. In with a cut and one more row of 10. Now we're going to do a builder line, make sure everything matches up. Now we are going to be making several changes to this. The lower hull, I'm actually going to be completely rebuilding and moving downwards. This is just a template to give me an idea of proportions. Because remember, this is the first time that I'm building Voyager, so some of this is going to be a trial and error period. But this line nonetheless is going to help us to dictate proportions for the entire ship. So you went in with a cut and did a row of 10. Then we're going to go same thing here, in with a cut and row of 10. That last row actually might have been 9 if I'm not mistaken. If you count that out and it was 9, don't hold that against me. So go in with a cut line, a row of 10. And the same thing, in with a cut in a row of 10. That's looking pretty good. You should have at this point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows of 10 going in with a cut line on each side. So I go in with a cut, and I added 1 and 1. I'm going to make that 2, I think, on both the left and the right. So we did 2, 1, and 2. And we're going to add another row of 2 on the left side, and then a third. And like I said, this won't end up being the template for a lower hull. At this point, this is just to give us some proportions. You're going to see me do this a couple of times during the course of this tutorial for both the outline of the overall outline for the sides, as well as the shape for the front. That doesn't look terrible. We're looking pretty good. Did not feel like 22 minutes has just shot by, but we did. And I think we're in a good place for episode 1. We've gotten a decent amount done at this point. Now what we are going to do is our x-axis line, now we're going to bring it back. And I think we're going to bring this all the way back to our first blue build line. Now we're going to pass that, go through our second one, the third. I think we're going to end up bringing that all the way back if I'm not mistaken. And if you really want to, you can bring that all the way back. You can see I stopped at the second to last build line. And I think that's going to be the last thing that we're going to end up doing for our first episode. We've got really a good template to go off of here to kick things off with episode 1. Episode 2 and 3, we're going to be getting some serious layering done on our oval and for the saucer. And then we'll be coming back and we'll be, I think if I'm not mistaken, we'll be doing the front template for our lower half of the lower hull. Just to get an idea of where that's going to go. But yeah, we've got quite a season for you guys. I'm very excited. A lot of content getting ready to come out. But before we get into that, if you have any questions regarding today's episode, be sure to drop a comment below. Definitely love hearing from everybody. And if you guys are not aware, I do have Voyager Season 2 in the works. Season 1 is mostly going to encompass the exterior, building that out, shuttle bay, main corridors, and the bridge. So if I have people that really want to see me finish out the interior of Voyager, you need to let me know in the comments section that you want to see Season 2. Also, I have a poll going on for the cosmetic update for the Enterprise D for Season 2. So Season 2, the Enterprise D is happening, and if you want to get in on that poll, basically what the cosmetic update will be, it's either going to be the Enterprise from All Good Things or the Enterprise as seen in the end of the season of Picard Season 3. So the only way that you can vote on that, you cannot do that on YouTube. You need to make sure to join the Discord in the description below and go click on the Minecraft category and then click on polls. This way you can vote on that and have your voice heard. Also, I'm getting ready to do my prep work for my next build, the Excelsior 2 class tutorial. Really excited about that. That's going to be coming up quicker than you might realize. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. And also, new subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so as get notified when those new videos drop. And speaking of new videos, I have decided I'm going to be putting these episodes out. I'm going to be trying to do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. Just want to thank you all again, and I hope everyone has a happy and safe week. And I'll catch you in the next episode. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section.